Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda and today I'm going to be chatting through all the books that I read in the month of August. So, I only read 4 books in the entire month of August. I really just wasn't reading much and was kind of slumping. So to kind of help make this video a little more substantial and a little more fun for me as well, I'm also going to talk about some monthly favorites that I had in the month. So this will include podcast, music that I listen to, any snacks, and also talk about workouts and do kind of like a weight loss check-in as well. So I'm excited. I might start including this more into my wrap-ups because I simply am just getting busier and busier, it seems. So I'm reading less and less, but I am also really trying to enjoy other hobbies as well. So I think it'll be fun to talk about those things, other things that I'm enjoying, not just books. So it's kind of just like a monthly wrap-up of all the things that I've been enjoying. So without further ado, let's get into the books. So like I said, I only read 4 books this month, but I did read some pretty chunky books, which I think kind of helps a little bit. So the first book that I finished was Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. This is the first in a series of standalone romantasy books by this author, and I believe they're all standalones because this was definitely like a completed book by the end. But in this one, we follow our main character, the Prince of Envy, who has never claimed to be a saint. So he receives a cryptic note signaling the beginning of a deadly game. He knows it will take more than a hint of sin to win and save his failing demon court. And in arrives Camilla, and I believe she runs like a tailoring business of some kind, I believe. And so she gets roped into helping Envy, and the plot really thickens from there. And I thought this was a really fun time. I will say it's a fairly spicy romantasy story, so if you're not a fan of spice in your books, you may not enjoy this one, but like the tension was just amazing in this, and I had a great time reading it. I'm really glad it was a standalone. I feel like we really need more standalone fantasy books because I get really exhausted having to keep up with all these series sometimes. So it was really nice to just like read this book and be done. But I definitely will read the sequel or like the companion book that's coming out later this year. I would definitely recommend this one. I believe I give it a 4-star. It was a fun time and I look forward to reading more. The next book that I read was Blood Sanctuary Part 1, which is the 3rd book, I believe, in the Blood Mercy series by Viola Roth. I'm very disappointed to say this is my least favorite book in this series so far. I believe I gave this one like a 2.5 or 3-star rating, but I've given the other books in the series 5 stars. So this one definitely was not my favorite, and I'm really disappointed about that because I love these 2 characters so much, but I just feel like they were not in the greatest place in this book, and like that's realistic for a real relationship. A relationship's not going to be rainbows and butterflies literally every day, but it just feels like they should have just sat down and had one simple conversation to clear the air on what was bothering the both of them, and it would have saved this whole book. Like, it would have saved this whole book. But of course, they have to have miscommunication and cannot communicate clearly with one another, and it just irritated me so much. Like, if they had just had that one conversation, they would have just cleared the air and everything would have been fine. So that just really annoyed me, but I will continue with this. I'm tentatively continuing with this. I'm not super eager to pick up the next book because of this one, but hopefully it'll get better. But I just feel like this series is maybe a little too drawn out. Like maybe it could have been a quartet and we could have called it a day. Not really sure where the plot's gonna go that's gonna like continue the story. Like I don't know where we're going, and I don't really like that feeling when I don't have like an idea of what's to come. It's just like this huge long drawn out series. Like, I don't know. I'm cautiously continuing, like I said, but I'm not like super hyped about it, which is disappointing. Speaking of disappointing, the next book I had to talk about was my in-person book club pick for book club this month. It was my turn to pick. I picked this, and I'm sad to say I didn't really like it, and that is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I was really looking forward to this one because everybody on BookTube adores this series, and I was so excited to find like a cozy mystery series to just, you know, cuddle up with on these cold fall days, but I did not like this. I did not like this. So we follow a group of like more elderly characters in this peaceful retirement village, and they all come together to discuss unsolved crimes, and they call themselves the Thursday Murder Club, as you would expect. And there is a dead body that's found and a mysterious photo left next to the body, like next door of the retirement center place thing. And so now they're trying to figure out what happened. And I just didn't care. I feel like there's just a lot of names, and this book is very, very British, and maybe that's not my thing. I thought I enjoyed that. Maybe I just prefer like British shows, but like reading really British books is just maybe not my vibe, because I didn't really enjoy this that much, to be honest. So I think I give this one like a 2 or 3 star rating. I was not a fan. I will not be continuing, which is unfortunate, but I think it's a really widely loved book, and I wouldn't say you shouldn't read it, but for me personally, I'm not a fan. And the final book that I read, thankfully I ended the month on a high note, and the final book I read was The Battle Drum, by Sarah Al-Arifi. This is the second book in the trilogy that I'm forgetting what it's called, but I loved this book. Like, Sarah Al-Arifi is quickly becoming a new all-time favorite author for me. I've read, I think, just about everything she's written, and I'm obsessed with her writing, her character work, her plot work. Like, it really just kept me turning the pages. This was such a good second book, and I feel like second books can really struggle with second book syndrome, meaning it's like really slow. It's just a filler book to lead you into the third one. This one was nothing like that. It was truly phenomenal. So much plot happened in this book and so much character development, and I'm itching for book 3, which thankfully is coming out this upcoming week. Actually, it should be coming out the week that you're watching this video. I am so excited to continue, and I just know it's going to be explosive. So I give this one a glowing 5-star review. I would highly recommend this series if you haven't picked it up already. It is a high fantasy story. There are multiple blood colors in this world that determine your status, basically. So like red bloods are like the elite, blue bloods are like the working group, and then I think it's clear blood, they call them like ghostlings or something. They're like the very bottom tier, like the servants. And there's this competition that happens every 4 years to pick the next like elite people who are gonna be like running things, and drama happens with that in the first book. Things are explosive by the end of book 1 and continue to be in this one. And I'm just, wow. Just blown away by this series. It is truly impeccable, and I'm itching for book 3. So those are all the books that I read. So if you want to stick around and hear more of my favorites, please do. If not, thank you all so very much for watching. But if you're sticking around for the favorites, let's get into it. So, podcasts. Those truly have taken over my life again. I kind of go through phases in life where I listen to nothing but podcasts, and then I go through phases where I never want to listen to a podcast ever again. But this month was truly podcast heavy for me. So, the podcast that I mainly listen to, one that I've been listening to for years, is Ologies, and I will have links down below to all of these podcasts if you want to go check them out for yourself. But Ologies is one that I have been listening to for a solid like 5 years, and I'm starting all the way back from the beginning and listening to all the episodes because they're just all so interesting. So this is a science-y podcast, but it's very approachable, and it's very hilarious. Like, Allie Ward, who is the host of this show, is hilarious, and she makes things so interesting, and she interviews such interesting people who do such cool work out in the world and study very interesting things. So highly recommend this. It's funny, it's interesting, and it's everything I could ever ask for with like a science-y podcast. Next up is the Sabrina Zohar Show. I've been listening to this off and on because if you watch my vlogs, you know that I am deep diving into the dating world in my 20s, and it's been interesting to say the least. So this show has really helped me kind of understand my attachment style in the dating world and kind of take a step back and like really analyze the dating world through a new lens, and it's been very helpful, honestly. I would say everyone should listen to this. I think there's a lot of great advice, and there's some, some pretty harsh reality truths that she gives, which is like, it's good to have that every once in a while. So I don't listen to this a whole lot, but it is nice to listen to off and on. but I would recommend. Next up is one that I'm like truly obsessed with, and this is coming from someone who's too scared to watch like true crime documentaries or listen to true crime podcasts, but Criminal is so underrated. I have never heard of this, and I was trying to find some new podcasts to listen to. I somehow stumbled upon this one, and I'm obsessed. So in this podcast, the host finds like just like interesting cases, whether they are true crime or not. It's just interesting criminal cases. And like one of them was about this guy who was trying to protect the big birds in Florida and was shot and killed for protecting them. And there's a whole case about that. There's another one that was about like drugs at a frat house and all of that. So it's very, very interesting, very wide range. Some of the cases are kind of hilarious. Like there's also one about a fishing tournament, and this guy was accused of cheating because his fish was like really, really heavy because it's based off of weight for this tournament. And so he won, but it turns out that he had stuffed the fish with like metal so it would be heavier. So like stuff like that, you know, it could be a little silly, but there's also more serious stuff like the drug case. And I would highly recommend, especially for someone like me who does not like true crime. I can't stand it. It freaks me out. It's just an absolute no for me. But Criminal, obsessed. It's really, really good. Another one that I'm gonna start listening to weekly because I just love it. There's sound effects. It's so perfect for this time of year, is Heart Starts Pounding. I actually got recommended this on YouTube. Like I watched a YouTube short with the host of this. She had talked about a case or something. And I'm like, I really like her voice. And it turns out she has a podcast. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I started listening to it and it's really good. It's about like hauntings, true crime stuff, and it's really, really interesting. I would definitely recommend this one as well. It's been so fun to listen to. I love the little sound effects that she adds, and it makes it sound like a fictional story you're being told, even though it's like real things. And I very much enjoyed, so would definitely recommend. Okay, let's dive into music. So I have been deep into my Chappell Roan era. Okay, I'm obsessed with the rise and the fall of the Midwest Princess. I believe that's the title of her album. Obsessed. And I actually recently just got the vinyl of that. I'm obsessed. I've been blasting it in my house as much as I possibly can because it is so good. So I don't think I need to tell y'all about Chappell Roan. I think y'all already know about her, but this album is perfection. Also been listening to Sabrina Carpenter's new album. It's so fun. The music video for, I believe it's Taste. Great time. A great time. I will say, I am a very mood-based listener when it comes to music. So if I'm feeling really sad, I purposefully want to listen to sad music. If I'm feeling really pumped up, I want to listen to like hip hop or pop. If I'm feeling kind of moody, grungy, I'm going to listen to some divorced dad rock, which if you don't know what that is, just like look it up. That's been my vibe. That's been my vibe. In August, I listened to a lot of that, and Spotify even made me a playlist. Let me look up what it's called because it's a great playlist. Spotify made me a playlist called 2000s Dad Rock Mix. It's amazing. It's great. It's exactly what I want when I'm just feeling that like grungy, moody feeling. You know, I don't even know if that makes sense, but obsessed with that. And yeah, that's kind of what I've been mainly listening to. I like I said, it varies literally every single day what I listen to. I have a playlist for just about every mood I could possibly have, and I'm not mad about it. That's just how I am. All right, next up we're going to talk about like food and drinks. So for drinks, I recently discovered I really love Diet Dr. Pepper, and I have no clue if that's an unpopular opinion or not, but I love it. Like, it tastes pretty good, actually. Like, I don't drink it all the time, and I'm not gonna buy it regularly, but when I'm craving something kind of carbonated, that really hits the spot. Also still obsessed with my cherry cola Olipop. Yes, I'm still ordering these by the case from Amazon because I cannot find them where I live, which is so unfortunate, but I did hear a rumor from somebody at work that apparently we're getting a Target where I live, and I'm so excited, you guys. I will be shopping there weekly if we get a Target. But that's just a rumor, so I really hope it's true because we desperately need a Target. Desperately. Because I will be there so often. But anyways, so I've also been really enjoying making homemade pumpkin spice lattes. I have this like instant coffee that's pumpkin spice flavored. I'll probably be popping in a picture here of what it looks like. It's really good. I did have a pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks a couple weeks ago, and it was just disgustingly sweet to me. I'm really having a hard time eating or drinking really sweet things right now, and I don't really know why, because I've always had a pretty big sweet tooth, but for some reason it's really bothering me recently. So I've been kind of making my own coffees at home because I can make them less sweet and they taste way better to me. So been loving making homemade pumpkin spice lattes using oat milk and then a little bit of coffee creamer. My favorite coffee creamer at the moment is probably this Chobani coffee creamer. It's actually real good. It's not too sweet. It's a little bit milk consistency, which I enjoy. And I have been drinking soy milk or oat milk, trying to reduce my dairy because I notice I'm just way less bloated if I just don't have dairy of any kind. And that's been great. As for snacks, I'm currently obsessed with these white cheddar peas that I accidentally bought at the store. Like, I didn't mean to buy this flavor, but then I'm like, oh my god, these are addicting. And anything I can find that is not chips that I can like have that's like crunchy but also kind of healthy, I will happily buy. These are amazing and I would definitely recommend them if you are also looking for like a chip substitute. These are amazing. Also recently went to a friend's house and had these amazing dill pickle chips. Dipped these in some ranch and oh my god, they are incredible. So those have been my faves so far this month. Like, I just ate a lot of those in the month of August. Now let's get into workouts. So for this, I thought I could maybe do a little screen sharing moment from my phone and y'all can see it. And I'll just pull up my Peloton app and we can just take a look at it together. So hopefully you're seeing it on screen. So here's my Peloton homepage. Feel free to add me if you want to be friends on here because I'm down for that. So let's go back for the month of August. Okay, it looks like it's not gonna let me go back to like the beginning of August. I don't see where I can do that, but I have worked out basically every day in August besides maybe like 1 or 2 days, which is amazing. That's what I try to shoot for. Doesn't always happen. And I've done a total of 65 workouts in the 30 days of August 10th through the 8th, which is when I'm filming this video. I've spent 24 hours working out, which is crazy, burning 10,213 calories, which is awesome. My Strive score, I'm not really sure if this is a good or bad thing, but is 813. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere, because I looked this up when I first joined Peloton, what the Strive score was. And I'm pretty sure the higher the score, like, that's not good. Like, you want it to be on the lower end. Maybe it's the other way around. I have no clue. But these are all the workouts that I've done so far. I've done 31 cycling workouts since I've joined Peloton, 27 strength, 19 meditation, 10 walking, 5 yoga, and 1 stretching workout. And yeah, lots of focus on the glutes and hamstrings and quads, but I'm also doing a lot of upper body stuff as well, or at least trying to. And as for some recent achievements, I recently hit 10 walking workouts and hit 2,000 hours of working out so far in 2024. I joined this very, very late because I just joined Peloton last month, and I gotta say, I am obsessed with the Peloton app, and I say that as someone who did not enjoy working out like a couple months ago. I really truly think Peloton is incredible. I think it's a great way to keep yourself motivated to work out because they give you challenges to go for, and they have such a range of workouts from different times to different levels. And I love that I can use my non-Peloton equipment with the app, because as much as I would love a Peloton bike, they cost so much money, and I simply don't want to be replacing my equipment that works perfectly good right now. Like, eventually I would love to get a Peloton treadmill, because the treadmill I have right now is quite narrow, and I'm a big girl, and my big old feet, I have to almost like walk like, you know, with my feet really close together so I'm not like tripping off the edges of the treadmill. So eventually I would like to upgrade to Peloton equipment, but for now I love that I can use the app and it's a fraction of the cost of the other membership, and I truly love it. And I love that it connects to my watch, it connects to my health app, so everything talks to one another nicely, and I think it's great. great. I definitely would recommend it if you're looking for a workout app or would like to try it out. I don't know if I have anything to offer you all for like a 30-day free trial or anything, but if I do, I will leave it linked down below. And yeah, so that is it for my August wrap up. I hope you all enjoyed hearing about other things other than books, because I'll tell you now, I'm simply just not reading a lot because like I said, I'm busier these days. I'm also trying to pursue other hobbies and just, that's okay. I think that's perfectly fine to not be reading a ton. So that is going to be it for me for today. Let me know some things that you've been really enjoying in the month of August, books that you read, anything like that, as I would love to know, and I will see you all in another video soon. Goodbye!